So new arrivals this week. We'll go through these pretty quickly since I'm way behind.
Nope, we're fine.
1969 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe Fathom Green over green. 53,630 actual miles. Garage kept. Numbers matching 400 horse. 427 L68. This is a beast. Correct turbo hydromatic 400 automatic. Correct heavy-duty 3.08 posi axle. And the correct carbon intake. So this thing's got all the right boxes checked.
And the right body style. I like that
right body. That's a pretty cool body style.
Till it went to the malaise period.
Yeah, it went for a while that nobody cared about that C3s, but they've come on quite strong. The latter part of the C3s maybe weren't so great, but again, beautiful cars. We always say this. Just because they were underpowered doesn't mean they still weren't striking looking.
It's true.
So another new arrival, which is another Model T, which I don't talk about very often, but we keep getting these spectacular Model Ts.
It's true. Black
over black, beautifully restored, tons of brass, 177 cubic inch 4-cylinder, 2-speed planetary transmission, and it's got the Ford toolkit included as well.
Such a cool car.
Yeah, it's amazingly done, and we're seeing more and more of these Model Ts that are so expertly restored. It's hard to believe. You didn't see them for a long period of time, and now they seem to be making a renaissance here. So
this one's like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, only better.
Yeah, exactly. How about the 1971 Plymouth Duster 340 Tribute? Curious yellow. That's curious. Over black. Nicely done Tribute. 340 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. Factory high impact car. A727 automatic. Solid example. What's a factory high impact?
I was going to ask you that.
I don't know. I really don't.
I have no idea.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
I don't either. I don't know what it means. So somebody, podcast at classicautomobile.com.
Yes.
Answer that question.
Maybe they thought it would just get a lot of talk like the Roadrunner did.
I guess. How about the 2012 Ford Mustang Boss 302, Kona blue over charcoal black? We seem to get one of these about every 3 or 4 months come through the door, and they're great cars.
It's the Boss.
It's the Boss. Car number 18 of the 44 pre-production models, 31,000 actual miles, one of 3 left, supposedly. 5-liter Roadrunner V8 and a Tremec 6-speed manual. Lots of documentation on this car. It's a great car and a great example and a fun car to own.
And really, just it's a pre-production Boss, but it has everything. That ended up in the regular Bosses. There's nothing. There's nothing abnormal about it. Like I was looking for Easter eggs and things like that on it.
It's got
something
everything oddball that you wouldn't normally see on another car.
Maybe there is, and it just doesn't show.
Well, it very well could be, and things that they maybe didn't even release to the public because they wanted to test without being obvious for whatever reason. And how about this, a 72 Ford Bronco? We don't see any of these lately, do we? My goodness, Barrett-Jackson and Mecum, they're two big sales.
Still hot.
So in Mecum in Kissimmee and Barrett-Jackson in Scottsdale, almost over 6,000 cars offered at those two sales collectively. All 2,000 of the ones at Barrett-Jackson were no reserve. And there was Bronco after Bronco after Bronco after Scout after Blazer after Bronco after Corvette. It was crazy. But the Broncos are strong. But this one, this 72 Bronco that we have, black over black, 53,000 actual miles. This is more reasonable than most of the ones you've seen on TV. The price point is much more in line with what you would expect it to be. Not 100 plus like you see a lot of these. So 3 owners from new. The original 302 cubic inch V8, known history, 3-speed manual. It's got a fiberglass body, so it's like almost like a kit, but not. But interesting vehicle.
Watching those auctions, it's amazing how many different Bronco builders there are around the country, all doing like fine work, and we get some of them here, but it's incredible what's coming through the line.
The level of detail and craftsmanship on these cars is second to none. I mean, it's just really spectacular.
I wonder if Ford had an idea that these little runabouts were going to be...
I don't think so, but although they did re-release the Bronco, and now it's become its kind of own subset of Ford, now the Bronco has become a whole... whatever you want to call it, sub-model, if you will.
Well, and they're more tough than like the Suburban. I forget the Ford name for the big stretch.
Expedition.
And the Excursion and all of those. Still love the Excursion though. Still, those are cool.
Well, and price wise.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Last but not least, the 1957 Chevrolet Corvette convertible, Venetian red over red. This thing. High dollar restoration. Oh, man. AACA senior first, correct 283, 270 horse V8. This car is striking. Muncie M20 manual, 370 posi axle. It's It's nearly flawless.
I think we had this one on display at the Philly Auto Show, and it is.
Oh, we did.
It is. It got a lot of eyes.
A lot of eyes, and it was on that red carpet, which you would think would be not good, but it was actually good.
Yeah, a little bit of contrast there.
It made it a little contrast. And we were just talking about earlier the 1954 Mercedes that RM just sold, the Stromlinen Wagon, the W196, $53,200,000 worth of buyer's premium.
Sure.
That gets two of these.
Yeah. Highest price ever paid for a Grand Prix car. Second most expensive vehicle ever sold at an auction, which was first was another Mercedes-Benz. Right. The SLR 300 went for $142 million. But this one was driven by Juan Manuel Fangio. It was from the Indianapolis Speedway Museum. It was a one-car auction in Stuttgart at the Mercedes-Benz Museum that they had. So, I mean, you imagine having a whole event and inviting thousands of people for one car. That's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they should have done that with the Ford GT, but...
yeah, exactly. Or the Porsche 917.
That's what I meant, Porsche 917.
Yeah, well, maybe they think that there's a lot of things they should have done with that, so who knows. You know, what's interesting about this car, though, is that it's this Stromlinen Wagon, 2.5-liter straight 8, 280 horsepower. So not a lot of power relative to today, but back then, 280 horsepower on a car that was, lightweight metal, and I guess it's aluminum.
Yeah, I think it is. It's one of one. Is it one of one?
Yeah, one of one or one of very few.
Yeah.
And it probably couldn't weigh more than, 1,500 pounds or something with the driver. So 280 horsepower becomes a whole different ball of wax when you're talking about a weight of that versus a weight of a normal passenger car that weighs 4,000 pounds with 280 horsepower, which is still not nothing.
Right.
I'll bet at that sale they had really good hors d'oeuvres in an open bar.
I bet you they had a big old open bar, don't you think? And I imagine that somebody probably bought it that wasn't even in the room.
Yeah.
Some guy on the telephone who didn't want it to be known who he was and where he was.
Well, he's too busy.
And so,
he's too busy to be there.
Well, and some people don't want, some people want to show off their possessions, and others do not want to show off their possessions, and good for them. So,
you've been listening to the Classic Auto Mall Show with your host, Stuart Howden.